Hey guys, this is Seamus. We are working today, day 3, on working on Emeline's kind of resource guarding with new people coming in. The last video, day 1, that we were working on this with Kevin, we were working outside, working on greeting each other, him coming around the car and saying hi to each other. Obviously had that reaction and we're able to work through it. Today we are working with someone new. We were working with Senny, the other board and train trainer, and had her coming in through the doorway, representing more of an in-the-house kind of greeting. And we're able to kind of work through some of that, starting Emeline first on her bed stay, and then moving to having her just in the come command as well. So when we were working through, we were able to kind of address the same issues because we've been working on this for a few days already, even with a new person in a new room. It was something that we were able to see still a lot of progress with. We saw no jumping today. We still had the muzzle on just in case it was something with the new person, new situation, but we had a lot of success even from just working the last 2 days with her. I had gotten an email from the owner, from Emeline's owner as well, after seeing that first video, and she had mentioned that in the video, after she started to be corrected for the jumping, she was starting to sit down when me and Kevin were kind of greeting and hugging and stuff. That is something that I kind of wanted to clarify on too, because we also had some people commenting in the video as well. And it's something where in that session, my only expectation was to teach her that the jumping, the reactivity to me and Kevin greeting each other is not okay. So in that video, after a while, she started to choose to kind of sit down and hang back and let me kind of move forward to greet Kevin. And that was something that was solely her decision. I did not ask her to sit. I did not practice any of those commands with her prior to all of that. It was simply just her making the decision to do something that she has been reinforced with positively before, instead of doing something that she was continuously getting that negative reaction to with that correction for jumping. So in her mind, she knew that that was something that I liked her doing, a behavior and command that we have practiced in the past. And so she was resorting to something that she knew was positive instead of doing something that she knew was negative. And so having that sort of reaction with just even that session was something that has laid over into these last couple of days as well, where she's continuing to kind of choose to be put sitting or laying down, whether on the bed or at my heel.
Come in.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Cindy!
What's up?
Good girl. All right, cool. I like that one. This time, I'm gonna have her just in a down state,
Okay.
and then I'll have you just come in, do the same thing. Okay, come.
Real.
Good girl.
Type like that?
Yeah, we'll just go right in that.
Okay.
Down. Good. You're good.
What's up?
What's up, Sunny?
Woo!
Good girl. All right.
Yeah.
Hi guys, this is Seamus and Emeline again with another update on the reactivity that we've been working through. Today we focused more on trying to get that muzzle off. So started first with the muzzle on in both situations, with on the bed and at the heel and in a down position, and then having Kevin knock on the door and come in. What you can see through the video is first we start on muzzle and then slowly work up with intensity, and then as we take that muzzle off, we go right back down to super low, casual, Kevin just kind of walking in, not really saying anything, but just that little slight handshake and a little hug, and using that rewarding for no reaction, obviously to that, and then slowly building our intensity up in terms of exaggeration, ending with that really big, explosive hello and handshake and really big hug to kind of exaggerate that stuff. So working to that point, we've been able to get her desensitized with being off muzzle, not going 100% right away and kind of pushing her those limits. We were able to kind of work our way slowly up with that intensity to prevent, the probability of that reaction. Obviously, when we don't have a reaction, we're going and rewarding heavily for that. So you can see I'm giving her a couple little handfuls of the kibble as well when I'm rewarding to let her know that that's something that we really want to reinforce, that behavior, to kind of counteract that reactivity.
Hey, Kev.
Hey, how about them browns?
Yeah. Good girl. Nice. All right. One more time, we'll do this off muzzle though. Actually, yeah. This time we'll go slow build our way up. So come in, still not come in, just calm handshake, hug. We won't really do much talking, and then we'll go from there. This time we'll have a little bit more conversation, greeting, but let's exaggerate the handshake like we did last time, but the hug will just be casual like that. Hey, Kev.
Hey, what's going on, Seamus?
Good. You can see she's like getting amped. All right, this time we'll go for it.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, good to see you, man. Good to see you.
All right, good girl. Good job. Emmy, come. Down. Good. Now this time I want to just super low again, right? Because we're going off muzzle. Just slow again. No talking or anything. Just a simple, just handshake hug. This is something I can talk about too a little bit after how we build up. Good. No. Down. No. Down. Okay, come. Good job. Down. Good. All right. This time, conversation, but still low body stuff. Hey, Kev.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Good to see you, bud. Good. Good job, Emmy. Alright, now this time we'll do exaggerated. Keep the volume kind of the same, but exaggerated handshake, maybe a big tap for the hug. Hey, Kev.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah. Good. Emeline.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, buddy, good to see you. All right. Woo! That's a good girl. Good job. Okay. Okay, do you maybe want to see if, like, you don't need to like call her over to you, but maybe if you like crouch down or something, see if she'll kind of like walk over to you. Okay. Yeah, you can just kind of, you can give her a little like pet too if you want, if she walked over to you. Yeah. I want to kind of see show that after that desensitizing that there is still a possibility of engagement as well,
Okay.
right?
Hey, good girl. Oh, you're such a sweetie. Hi.
Nice. Alright, perfect. Cool. Good job. Yeah. Good girl.
Because it could be a situation, right, where this interaction, right, could set her off, right? Right now I want it to be something where you put it on high, so just crank it all the way up.
So what?
All to 100, just all the way up. Yep, yep. Because if it's something where the second that paw gets off, I want to correct her, right? Because the thing with this intensity that she's having with you coming together and all this stuff, right? It's so intense and it's such high stimulation that she kind of like loses it for a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's something that.
She goes into another place.
Right. To bring her back to reality, I need to kind of like hit her on high, right? I need to kind of make a reason for her to kind of stop her in her tracks realistically, right? So it's something that, with that being said, that's what I'm looking for, right? So you can go ahead and just hand me the remote. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So that's really all I wanted. And now you could see right there, right? So I don't know if you saw it, but she started to kind of come off, right?
Sure she did.
So it's something. Exactly. So it's something that she thought about it, right? And this is kind of what happens with her. She gets a little shaky and everything, right? So she's really starting to build up. So now what we're gonna do, before we even go and release her, I'm gonna have her kind of calm down again, right? So this could take 10 seconds, this could take 10 minutes, you know? But it's something that I want to kind of just see her kind of relax a little bit more, because you can see she is like, she's amped up, right? And so, but that's why I wanted her on high. And look, she did great there, right? So if you wanted to, you could even go over and you can reward her. So go ahead and tell her, good. Go ahead and give her a reward. Don't release her, just give her that reward and then kind of just walk away again. Perfect. Nice. So again, something where positively we are reinforcing that, right? You made the right decision. You wanted to come off, but you stopped yourself before you got that correction because you knew the consequence of breaking that command. And you stayed, right? So with that being said, now you get the reward, right? So that's why, again, I want to reinforce that positive as much as that negative. And so we'll give her a second. She's a weird sitter.
I know, she does it all, it's so funny though, because like, I'm on the Facebook page of like all of the dogs that came from like Chicago Animal Care and Control, and like 90% of them are pitties. And everybody takes pictures of their dog and like that old, like it's like an old man on the couch sit.
Just a slunch.
Right, and I'm like, are you Fred Bundy? Like, what is that, right? Like, yeah, she's like, oh, I'm perfectly comfortable. Just
Right,
like this.
yep. This is fine, this is fine. Yep. Yeah.
So funny.
So we'll give her a second to kind of calm down a little bit, and then I will have you release her once when she kind of calms down a little bit. But yeah, but I mean, even that was good, right? That was something where it was a small, good starter, I think, you know. But it's something again to be aware of when we're doing this, because obviously we are going to be doing this a lot, interacting and switching stuff.
And it is all about her making the decision like on her own.
Yeah.
Like coming to the right conclusion. Like I could do this and be an asshole, or I could do this.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where us trying to make that communication comes into play, right? Because it's something where it's like, go ahead and try to be a jerk, but
Sorry, I used my
but it's all right.
bad words.
But it's something where you're going to get corrected on high, right? So again, yes, she's making that own decision, right? I don't have her tied to the wall or anything like that. If she wanted to come off, she very well could have.
Yeah.
But she knows the consequence now of you know, even though it's mom, I know the consequence, I'm gonna get corrected on high, and I don't want that. So what I would rather prefer is a couple pieces of kibble or treats from mom, right? And maybe a scratch on the head. So make that right decision, and that's what you'll get, right? So now that we have the tool and kind of the commands to help work her through it, it's something that now she's able to kind of make her own decisions, right? She's put in that position to do so. So go ahead and reward her, and then you can go ahead and release her as well. Good. So right back up on high, right? Thank you. Cool. Good girl. So this will be every interaction we're gonna go on high, because I want to take advantage of every opportunity we have, right?
Sure.
Immediately go back
Yeah.
down, right?
Like that right there was a miracle that she stayed down on the ground.
Yeah.
I know we're at Miracle Canine,
Yep.
but like us handing something off
Uh-huh.
would elicit the same
Yep.
crazy response.
And it's gonna be something where, you know, and I'm sure you will be like overly aware of these opportunities and interactions and stuff going home, because you know that it can happen in the smallest little thing, right? But it is important to do that, to kind of be aware of every little thing that could possibly set her off, so that we are, again, like we're doing right now, are ready for it if we need to, right? So that way she knows, like, okay, well, this is okay, you know, I need to kind of let this go, right? And again, I put her in that command so that she is held to that position, right? If she was released, she technically is in no command, she really has no rules, right? She knows she's still not supposed to do it, but giving her this command at least holds her to a little bit more of a tighter criteria of, if I even have intent to stand up right now, Seamus is gonna give me a correction, right? So it's not even, I'm not even gonna wait for her to lunge at you. I would just be looking at her, and the second she started rising up, I'd give her that correction, right? So that's another good thing that we'll eventually kind of roll into as well, is kind of prematurely setting up these little things that we can correct before we even get that reaction, right? So the bed stays, the down stays and stuff, right? So and that was one thing that we did work a little bit, you know, with the greetings and everything, you know, is obviously having her on the bed stays, but also, you know, when I am walking up, I do have her in that like heel command as well, you know, so if it's something where we're just kind of like, as long as she's in a command, right? That's really the important part of it, is just making sure that like whenever we are expecting a greeting or something like that, you know, I want to try to get her into a safe position first, you know, make sure, hey, you good? Okay, cool. Now we can interact, right?
So like on the video, when she started sitting, was that because you gave her a command to sit?
No.
Or she just...
It was her making the right decision of, I keep doing this thing that I want to do, and I'm getting a really high correction on it. I don't want to do that anymore, right? I don't want to keep getting this high correction. Clearly something is wrong with it. So let me do something that I know is okay, right? Let me just go up and do the command, and then once I get into that time of when I always get those corrections, let's not repeat what I keep doing, right? So then she just started sitting, and again, in that same sense where the good and no have that same power, it's something where she started realizing, oh, if I sit here and I let him do his thing, then I get a reward.
Yeah.
That beats a high correction, right? So
Choose that.
yes, so that's where we started seeing that she was just sitting. She was like, cool, this worked,
Okay.
so that's what I want to keep doing.
She was making that sit decision all by herself.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's something, and that's what I'm going to really be looking for, right? So it's something where, again, you're making the decision not to join, right? And that's really the understanding. That's when I start to know or feel confident in her being like, okay, you're starting to connect the dots, right? You're starting to realize what exactly you got corrected for. And not only that, but now you're trying to fix yourself before that problem even happens again, right? And you're getting rewarded for it. So that's what continues that good behavior, right? Obviously, it's a little step up from the bed stays because we're losing that kind of boundary, right? We're on a flat ground, we're on the floor, right? Mm-hmm. It's also something where if you're going to be outside, you're probably going to do a down stay, not a bed stay, right? You're not just going to lug a bed around. So this is where I want to be a little bit more specific with when she's in that down. Like, so that was a good example of like how she kind of like popped up, but she just wanted a better eye on you, right?
That's
So she
what I
kind of
thought,
scooted.
like, she wasn't getting up, she just wanted to like, I wanna see you.
Right, so, yep. So
No,
tell her no, tap, and then repeat that command.
down.
Perfect. So that was all really good timing, right? You saw the intent to come up, she broke it, both elbows came up, you told her no, she kind of stopped in her tracks and went right back down, right? So that's what I want to see, and this is what I was going to get to as well, where she goes down, right? Again, I don't really care when I'm working it, where in proximity she is to me, right? But, because especially if we're outside, you know, we're gonna have her on the leash, so she's only gonna get as far as the leash anyways, you know, even if she doesn't down right by me. But it's something that where she does down, I want it to be something where she knows that like that is her spot, right? It's not something where she downs over there and then you go over on the other side of the room, you know, and you're talking to someone else or whatever, and she feels, or she can just like pop up, run over to you, and then down over by you, right? You still broke the command, she's still gonna get that correction, and I'm actually gonna wanna bring her back to the general area. Yep, because it's something I want her to realize that like, I put you in this position for a reason, and whatever reason that is, it's my reason, so you need to stay there, right? And so that's something that's where I wanna be strict about it, because I don't want her to think that like, oh, well, if I just move over and I down, like that's really all you care about. It's like, no, I wanted you to down over there for a reason.
Location.
Exactly. So make sure that she is held to that position wherever or whenever you do use these downstays. I think having her out would be good. I think it would be benefit. It wouldn't hurt, I guess is what I'm saying. It wouldn't hurt to be in the crate, but I obviously would like her to be able to be out when you're having guests over and stuff.
Yeah,
So
and I feel like the crate is like a good thing and a bad thing, right? Like
Right.
on the one hand, like if she's in the crate and she sees this thing happening, she's even more frustrated.
right.
Right?
And
She's
so
like, oh God, they're touching.
Yeah.
Ah.
So I think it would really kind of, I think it would depend on who you're having over, right? Are they willing to have that possibility of her breaking and you correct and that be a thing? Or are they a little bit nervous themselves and they feel more comfortable helping you do this with her in the crate, right? So I don't think it would, I think it would really be kind of where you are comfortable and where your guest feels comfortable with it,
Like
right?
I had some friends over for like somebody's birthday, right? And I was
Yeah.
having like 3 friends for dinner. Actually, Jen was one of them that's gonna come over on
Mm-hmm.
like Friday with us. So I was like, I'm cooking, there's 3 people here, like I can't keep an eye on her and do all of this. So I was like, great.
Yep,
So that's what we did,
perfect.
right?
Yeah.
Like easier for everyone.
Yep.
But like if I have like one friend over,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and yes, it would be great to have her in real life.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
you have to learn, Emeline. We can't just like always just go on the crate so that you don't have to like face your problem. Right.
Exactly. Now that we have the structures to do it, that'll be the benefit of the bed stays or the downstairs or whatever you want to work, right? Again, just making sure that we have that like constant remembrance of just like when she's in that command, she's working, right? She's on the clock, so we need to kind of just let her do her thing, right?
Like it'd be really interesting to like kind of use like this as like a recreation. Like she's in bed stay, I go to the door, she has to stay in place. Somebody comes in the door, hey, hi, how are you? Da, da, da. Like just kind of like recreate what would be happening in our house.
Yep.
And see if she can keep it together.
And that's exactly what we're going to work. Yep, that is the one thing that me and Kevin worked a lot with is in here, working with that bed stay over there and stuff, right? So it's clearly like we're giving her plenty of room, right? We're greeting like right here, so it's up to her whether she wants to make the decision or not. But again, it's just something where I think it'll be really good to work with you and with your friend because you're it, you know, you're the peak of that excitement and that stimulation. So, you know, we've been able to work with me and with Kevin and Senny and stuff, but now it's game time. Now it's like, you know, so we'll see what that kind of looks like in terms of working through it. So
Either that, Emeline, or you're not coming home.
oh, I'll take her.
No.
Before I knock, she'll be kind of free. Once I knock, that'll be kind of like, oh, someone's here, let's go to your place, right? So yeah, so free roaming until I knock. Once I knock, that's your sign. Okay, let me go and put her on that place, right? Once she's on, you can say, you know, come in or whatever, you know, and then I will open the door, I'll come in, and we will greet kind of in the center, right? Now we're going to be on high with that remote, right? And it's going to be something that the second she takes that step off, right? That's when I want to catch her, right? And so this will be kind of something where we need to be able to, you know, kind of keep an eye on her and everything, but if I can catch her the second she makes that mistake, because that's really what we're correcting for, right? And that's why we have a reason to correct her sooner than waiting for her to actually lunge it off, right? So that's why it's going to be really important to try to catch her right as she steps off, right? And even if it's something that where she kind of, and this is kind of what like David was saying a little bit like yesterday as well, even if it is something where she's not really committed to running at us, maybe she kind of like takes that step off and then she catches herself, right? I still want to give that correction, right? Because that is why she's getting corrected,
Right, like a total black and white,
Yep.
like not even
Right.
a toe.
Yep, exactly. Because it's something that, again, if we start letting her get away with that little things, she's gonna take advantage of it, right? So I want to make it very clear in her mind that, nope, we're not doing that, right? So that is kind of how we're gonna start here. And then I usually like to start kind of low, intense, you know, we'll come in and we'll just kind of shake hands at first. We won't really talk or anything like that. And then we'll just kind of work this repetition a little bit, kind of adding that intensity a little bit every time, getting to the point where we're clearly exaggerating our emotions and everything, and we'll give like a hug and stuff.
Regular.
Okay, perfect. Right. So perfect. So then it will just be normal, right?
Yeah.
So then we'll kind of end with that, and then that way it'll kind of be this slow build up to being able to kind of like work through on any of this intensity. You're gonna follow through with it, right? So it's gonna be something that, again, we'll start slow and we'll go slow with it and everything, but it's gonna be something that, again, as long as you're ready, it's gonna be something we're gonna walk up, we're gonna shake that hand, and if she lifts those paws up, boom, right away, right? And then again, the muzzle and everything, that'll keep us all safe and everything. And from what the reactivity seemed like, it seems like it's more of, like it doesn't seem really aggressive, right? She's not trying to like latch onto your arm and yank you off and all this stuff, right? It's more of that just leaping and kind of like nipping at your face, almost like she's just so stimulated. She's like, I don't know what to do, right? And so she like kind of jumps up, right? So that is why it is going to be super important to kind of try to catch her as fast as I can if those paws do lift, all right? Okay.
And like that's the challenge is like, okay, you're out in the world, I see you, right? Like I don't have eyeballs everywhere.
Right.
So like how do I
Right.
may just have to do it, right?
Yep.
I mean that's what the practice is for. But
Yep.
I'm like, okay, I see you, I'm like da da da, and then her, and then yeah.
Right. So yeah, and it's right now we need to be super like eyes on her and stuff as much as we can because we're working through it, right? Once we do this repetition, obviously it's a matter of, with the repetition, you get more comfortable and confident, she gets more comfortable and confident, right, and understanding what actually is going on and what's appropriate, what's not, right? The more consistency we see, again, we're on a good streak right now, doesn't mean that she's never gonna ever do it again, right? And that's always a good thing to kind of keep in your head, you know, so it's something that, you know, it's good to see this progress, but also understand that every time we're going on this walk, or every time you kind of like see someone, you're meeting up with someone outside on a walk or whatever, we're always going to we can be lower on the walks at first, but when you see that person or that distraction, we're going up, right? It's because we're always going to be ready, right? And that's where that consistency comes into play, all right? So going outside, yes, we are going to you're going to have to kind of keep your eyes on a pivot here and just make sure.
We're not walking, like we're not on 100.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. And but it also seems like, again, with the heel command, with her staying in that bubble and stuff, what you're gonna have to do when walking by people, is just gonna be something where as you're walking by, you just kind of take a look down at her, right? As we're getting kind of at this distance, right? Right before we're kind of past, I'm gonna kind of check where she's at, right? Is she followed parallel with me, or is she like already starting to kind of like bubble out and leave that space, right? So, and then that'll be that judgment call. Like if she is bubbling out, no, tap, and then come, right? And just kind of fix her right back, right? So again, it's a matter of just like this situation, the second that paw comes off, I'm catching her before she even has a chance to be reactive, right? Same thing with the walking, right? You kind of like glance down and you just kind of see where she is for a second. Right when that opportunity, if she does kind of like lead out, no, tap, come, cut her right back, and then you're still walking, right? And that's kind of how it is. That's how I still do it with my dog, right? And so it's just something where when I walk, just every time that distraction comes into play, that jogger comes running by, or that cyclist comes riding by or something, I see them, right? And you just have to assume that they're not gonna be an idiot and like run into you or something, so
Yeah.
they want to keep their space as well. So it's just a matter of like, okay, I see you coming, yeah, we're good. All right, glance down, she's good. All right, we're good, right?
Place. Good.
Oh, it's so hard, it's so hard, it's so hard.
One more. Good girl. Enter.
Hi, how
Hello.
are you?
I'm great.
Good to
Nice
see
to see
you.
you. Hello.
Perfect.
Welcome.
Go ahead and get that reward. So you can definitely see there's a little bit more of the intensity on that one.
Such a good girl. Such a good
I
girl.
could see you in the background going.
Uh-huh, yeah.
You were so good, but that was so hard and you did it because you're so good. Good girl.
Yes.
Yes.
Doing that same one again?
So, we're gonna kind of increase it a little bit more.
Okay.
We're a little bit louder that knock, right? Wait for her to get her on. And then when you come in, have a little bit more of that exaggeration. Hey, how's it going? Hey, good to see you. Give that quick hug, and then we'll just end scene.
I'll even add like a little jog
Yeah,
towards
that works.
her.
That works, right? And just now we've been on a good streak, right? But that doesn't mean
I know.
that, right? So it's something where still be ready. So keep her kind of in your peripherals and wait for that paw even to come off, right?
Place. Good. Yeah. Enter.
Oh my goodness, how are you? It's so good to see you. It's amazing. Look at that dog over there.
Good. Look at how good she is. She's so
Perfect.
good. I'm gonna give her a ton of reward. Good girl. Good girl.
Awesome.
That was super good, Emeline.
That was great.
Good girl. That was amazing. You know what they say? Amazeballs.
And she's like hardly familiar with me at all.
Yeah.
I've interacted with her maybe one time, honestly. So that's awesome.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead, give that reward.
Good girl. So good. So good. That was super good. Get him, get him, get him, get him. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
Now, like we were talking upstairs, when it is more situational, yes, obviously we would have her in that stationary position, go ahead and kind of give her that, the person, like the other greeting and stuff like that. But again, when you're outside, you can't just really drop the lead and then go and walk 10 feet
Sure.
away either, right?
Right.
So it is something where it is good that she has that distance, but just have it just be something, where you have her in that down and we come up and we give that hug, right? So let's just try one of those two, where it's just something where you can put her even down right there, and then I'm just gonna kind of come up, walk up, and just kind of give you that hug again. Same thing, just keep an eye on her that if she pops up those elbows, even when those elbows start coming up, boom, give her that correction. Good job. Perfect. Go ahead and give her that reward. Oh, I have them.
Good girl. That was super good. Good girl. Good.
Nice. You can still see she's still a little tense, right?
Yeah.
She wants to, right?
Yeah.
But it's something that this is why I have no rush with getting that muzzle off, right? It is something where I'm gonna keep that on as long as I need to for me to feel comfortable and for her to feel confident and understanding what exactly the expectation is.
And, you know, she's like with like her, when she's done that before, she has like scratched like, you know, people or like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, nipped at them and like hurt them, and that's why we are here.
Yep. Yeah, it doesn't feel good, her head butting you or whatever, but it's better than her grabbing a hold of your lip or scratching your face or anything like that, right? So it's something that's why that muzzle is so important, right?
Yeah.
And she can be annoyed with it as much as she wants, but it's not coming off, right?
For everyone's safety.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hers included,
Hers
right?
included, absolutely.
Because you nip the wrong person or something, right? And that's bad for her. And then just keep an eye on her, kind of glance down. Perfect, she's doing great. Awesome.
That was so great.
And now this is where that jackpot can come in. You can go and give her a little bit of that kibble, and then you can go down and give her a little bit of that loving, that extra loving.
Girl. Okay.
So we're gonna do the same thing as yesterday, go really slow first at first, but we are just starting right away with kind of that hardest example, right? Yep.
Okay.
So, so first we're gonna kind of start just like this, right? Just where she can clearly see me. There's no real surprise, but there will be contact. You know what I mean? So we'll start with that handshake. See how that goes. If she's good, go ahead and reward. If there is a reaction, obviously no and correct. And then we'll go for the handshake and hug, and we'll kind of slowly build up. And then we'll kind of work around the corners and stuff. So we'll probably just work this little corner right here. I'll come around the corners, similar to like the car situation yesterday. You know, coming around the corner, seeing us, and then greeting, working through that. And then Jen, I'll have you kind of jump in and do the same thing.
Hello.
Good job.
Great. Good girl. Yes. Love bomb. Love bomb. Love bomb. Love bomb. Yes. Good girl. Good girl. That was such a good down.
If we can find where that communication starts, right? Where can we like start having that conversation between you two of like, hey, this is just the one thing I don't like, right? Mom's not dying, right? This is mom's friend. I'm allowed to grab this flyer from this person or whatever, you know what I mean? Like just those simple interactions, right? And then the more confident maybe she gets with that, then it can be something where we can start really going with those big hugs and everything like that, right? Now, I think on the inside and stuff, I think that worked really well where, you know, you work those bed stays and those down stays and stuff consistently, and we're confident with those.
Right.
I think that's something that I think will gain her confidence a little bit more. Again, this is a very hard situation for a dog in her situation, right, in her case. So it's something that, you know, I know she's going to be a little bit more tense here. That's why I wanted to do this, right? We have to face those issues so that we can try to find some way to communicate, right? So if it means just starting small right now, and that's what builds her confidence, and we can get really positive reaction from that, perfect. That's where we'll start, right? You know? Down. Good. Jen, nice to meet you.
You too.
Good. Nice. Come. Good. Down. Good girl. These are good jobs. Good job. Good girl. Good. Good. Nice job. Free. Good. Good. Come. Do one more. Down. Good. And you can already see, good to see you. She's starting to make that stop like we were seeing before, where she kind of like putting on the brakes herself. Because she's like, all right, I know this is a tense moment, but I know Mom usually puts me in this down position and then goes into that situation, right? Leaves me kind of behind. So she's taking that kind of upon herself to be like, okay, I need to start putting the brakes on.
Right.
And I need to start getting where I know I'm comfortable here, and then let Mom go and do that breathing, right? So that's what I'm looking for. Good job, sweetie. Yes.
Good girl. Down. Good.
Good to see you. How's it going? Good. How's Emily?
She's been working so hard on her training. Such a good girl.
Hi, sweetie.
Good girl.
Nice.
That was excellent. Super good. Super good girl. Okay.
I think that went really well, right? I want it to be something where, you know, again, you feel confident, because if you start getting kind of those nerves and stuff too, then she's gonna know, right? Like, so I think that for whole party included, we have these greetings be a little bit lower, right? We worked high enthusiasm here because we are exaggerating that kind of greetings and stuff like that to make it more explosive, to make it so that when there's that reaction, we know how to correct for that and work through it, right? So that way, the big stuff, if she knows that's not okay, then the little stuff is really gonna be okay, right? She knows this slight greeting and stuff, you know, you could still see those ears popped up, right? She's still kind of like looking and making sure, you know, so, but she's making that right decision, right? She's kind of waiting for that line to be pushed where then she's gonna go, right? So it's something that right now, I would rather, again, be lower enthusiasm when we're having these greetings, but still have it so we're being consistent and working through the issue so that she can build this confidence in herself and in the whole situation and at all, you know, so that way eventually we can start kind of being a little bit more natural with our greetings and stuff, right? But it's something where, and I know you were already good about this or whatever because her reactivity, but it's something where, you know, just being open with people coming over or seeing people, meeting people outside or whatever, you know, and just having that situation where we can let them know, hey, I just got to put my dog down here real quick, you know, I want to come say hi, but we're still just working on this, so just give me a handshake for right now, you know, and then when she's kind of calmed down, then we can kind of like hang out or whatever, right? Because the good thing is that she doesn't really mind the whole being close, it's just that contact, right? And the most important thing is that you know that, right? So we know what kind of sets her off. which is a good point because then we can start kind of transferring that to her, again, that communication of like, I know what triggers you, and so that's where I'm going to be very specific with that correction so that you know that's like what the mistake is, right? You know where that flip that she switches when she goes and leaps for you, that's the mistake, right? So you know when that timing of the correction is appropriate when you can go and give that correction, you know, for her to kind of stop that reaction, right? No greetings right now, you know. If it's something, and this is one thing that I was telling her, in a command when we're working, you know, that is her time to focus. She needs to focus on what she needs to do, right? If you're going in and you're trying to greet her and stuff, one, if she's feeling unsafe or something and you're coming into her personal space, right, that's going to be uncomfortable for her, right? Also, on the flip side, maybe she's like loving it, she's rolling over, she's giving you a belly, you know, you're giving all these scratches and stuff, and then you stop, she's most likely going to be like, wait, I want more, and then pop out of that command where she's going to then have to give that correction, right? So either way, it's not really beneficial for her to get that attention, at least while she's working, right? Once it's something where, you know, once you guys are like hanging out or whatever, and maybe she's released from the command, you guys are hanging out at the park or whatever, I don't know, at the bench or something, and she's just kind of like sniffing around or whatever, and she comes up to you, and you're like, okay, you know, and you want to give that pet, then that's fine. But again, just don't be like crazy about it, you know. I want to, again, the confidence building is the most important thing, because I don't think this is like an intentional, like, I'm coming at you to hurt you thing, right? It is this fear-based kind of reactivity where it's something where it's like, hey, that's my mom, and like you're entering me and mom's personal space, back off, you know. So because again, it's being close to her isn't the problem, right? It's that interaction, right?
We practice one of those where I'm like, hi, and then she stops because we're gonna go into her building.
Yeah.
And she could see her neighbor, and this could happen like as soon as we get out of the car. I'm actually thinking it's more for Kristen's practice
Yes.
than Emily's practice.
Right, right.
Because you're even like, you know, you're still getting used to the two
Right, exactly.
devices.
I'm like, oh,
and,
she was on low, then we're on, like, I'm just, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
If I go to hug, like, hey, and I go to hug you, your instinct is going to be, I think, to do that first, not to take care of the dog first.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Kristen. Hey, Emily.
Oh, hey, hold on one second. I want to put her into a down, and then I can say hello to you. Good. Okay. Hello. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too.
That was awesome.
That was good.
I am so glad that I took a second and I put her in a down and I came to shake your hand.
I think you did great.
And now I'm gonna tell you that you're such a good baby. Good, you did a good job. Yes, good girl. Good girl.
You're going to do good. I know it. I know it. Yes, I know. I know.